Hi, welcome back to the Dahlia Society. My name is Kristen and today I'm bringing you my favourite free skirt pattern, so stay tuned. If you're anything like me and you've just come out of that whole Christmas rush period and the shopping and credit card bills are coming in, you got the kids back to school, you're feeling a bit drained in the finance department and you still want to do some sewing, I've got the perfect antidote for you, and that is a free pattern, actually 2 free patterns. A while ago I promised to bring you guys an episode or maybe a few episodes on some favourite free patterns. Now I know there is a multitude of free patterns on the internet, free sewing patterns that you'll find. A lot of them aren't really tried and tested. Personally, myself, I find that I need to tweak a lot of these free patterns and maybe hack them to get them perfect for myself. I wanted to make sure that the content that I brought you was valuable and wasn't something that was going to waste your time as far as fabric goes, because we all know fabric isn't cheap. And especially with free patterns, I know sometimes they can be hit and miss. There is a couple of patterns that I'd heard good things about. One in particular was a pattern that was very similar to a popular indie pattern. Can be on the bit more of a pricier side. So I thought, well, this pattern looks to be nearly exactly the same, but there was a few little differences. Now, if you've looked into the Justine Ready to Sew skirt, the Ready to Sew brand has got quite a lot of patterns that are for sale, and they also have a couple of free patterns as well. So the Justine skirt is a fantastic skirt for like a fuller style skirt with a little bit of gathering, some lovely pockets on the front, and a button up front as well. It is an option. I think the skirt could be quite easily hackable to omit the buttons altogether. I kept them on because I love the feature, having that button front with the pockets with their little matching buttons as well. I had 2 meters of a lovely Eliie Whittacker bright printed fabric I bought from Spotlight. I actually put it in the Australian fabric designer episode. I think I've mentioned it there. So it's quite a thick kind of cotton, almost like a quilting weight cotton. Now, I decided to get 2 meters of that at a 140 width, and I had plenty of fabric. When I made the skirt up, I put it all together and I realized that the back was a lot more full than what I intended it to be. I did a couple of little hacks on the skirt. Personally, for me, I like a skirt that's got the flat front and the elasticated back. So I've done a little hack on that, and a little bit of video footage so you guys can see exactly how I did that. Now we've done the waistband about 20 centimeters longer, just to add a bit more length for the elastic back. And what I'm doing, I've measured a piece of elastic that just, when it's pulled tight, it goes around the back portion of my waist, so just on the very back. And that is what I'm putting into the waistband. So when you're sewing, you need to have your needle into the fabric and through the elastic, and you need to pull the elastic as tight as you can pull it while you're sewing through the fabric. So we're going to pull the elastic as tight as we can go. Make sure your needle's pulled down. And then we're going to hold the fabric tight and sew. And again, pull the fabric as tight as it can go. You've got to make sure your needle's in the elastic, otherwise you'll just pull the whole thing out. And you can see that's giving it that gathered effect, the elastic back. And then when you go to join the elastic onto the skirt, it's a lot easier to have the elastic already done. So we're going to actually do 3 rows of stitching just to keep the elastic in place. So you'll see this is just how we do 3 rows just next to each other and stretching as you go. And you'll see that actually gives it the back elasticated, and then you have the front pieces flat, ready to pop around the front of your waist with a button. So that gives you just a lot more room in the back, and you won't have as many fitting issues with that. Now you can see I've sewn the front panels onto the flat front pieces, and I haven't done a lot of gathering because I want to keep it nice, not too gathering at the front. So we've got quite a lot of fabric still at the back of the skirt. So what I'm going to do, I've actually had a go at it, sewed it up, and it was way too much gathering because it's quite a stiff cotton. I don't want it looking too voluminous at the back. So I'm going to take a fair chunk of this back fabric out and basically stretch this back panel out as straight as it can go measure up the fabric to kind of match that, and maybe another 20 centimeters on top of that just to add a little bit more volume. So you can see how that will bring the back of the waistband into a lovely more fitted style skirt and leave that nice flat front, so it still gives you that nice feature of having the flat front but the comfort and ease of an elastic back. And that also prevents a lot of fitting issues as well, especially with a flat waistband skirt. I find sometimes they roll over, or if they're not interfaced properly, they'll get soft, they'll lose their shape and start to bag out. So the elastic for me is a real winner, and it's not a hard thing to do. I found I had way too much volume of fabric there. If you have a softer style fabric, maybe like a rayon or a lawn or a crepe, you probably wouldn't have that problem. But being like a sturdier cotton, it was just too much gathering, too much volume there. So I took about 20 to 30, 20 centimeters out of the back panel, and that was plenty. I took that off and I gathered the back skirt, and that was heaps of volume. Then you'll see in the pictures of me modeling that. I actually wore this skirt yesterday. We went to Phillip Island. We had a beautiful day at the beach, and just walking around in the beautiful sunshine. It was a lovely, light, comfortable skirt to wear, the sort of thing you could quite easily dress up or down as well. And the good thing about having a bright printed skirt, you can just get away with a really plain cotton style t-shirt or singlet top to bring out the colours in that as well. I know a lot of people on the internet have used a different fabric waistband to the skirt, maybe done the coordinating pockets so you can mix and match prints. That can look quite good as well. And the buttons, you can really do any size button you like, or you can just lose that button panel altogether and have just a plain front and back skirt without any buttons. Another thing you could also do is just leave the plain front and back, and you can just sew the buttons on as a feature as well. So if buttonholes really scare you, there are plenty of different options that you can quite easily hack this skirt. But yeah, the Justine skirt, as I say, ready to sew brand, and it does come in French and English instructions, so make sure you download the ones that apply to yourself. The instructions were really, really easy to follow. I had no problem at all. And that's another thing with free patterns. Sometimes the instructions can be a bit lacking, or that maybe haven't got as much thought gone into them, but this I found was fantastic for instructions as well. And it's a really very, very basic skirt to make. You'll just see there's just rectangular style pieces and the waistbands and the pockets. So the pockets are really interesting with the little fold over fronts and the curved edge. Yeah, I'll put some photos of me in that as well so you can have a good look. But definitely recommend this skirt. As I say, I want to bring you patterns that I would recommend. If they're free, they have to me, they have to be tried and tested. So I would definitely recommend the Justine skirt. Next skirt I've got here is a Peppermint wrap skirt. Now you may have seen this on the Peppermint website. Now the Peppermint website always have fantastic patterns. I have sewn probably about 4 of these now and have had no trouble at all with sizing, with fitting, with instructions. They're always perfect instructions. You can print out the layered sizes, which is another bonus for me. With the Justine skirt as well, you can do that too. So remember when you're printing in Acrobat Reader to click on your layering effect and you just print out the size that you'd like. That way you can save quite a bit of paper and mucking around when it comes to putting the pattern pieces together. So the Peppermint wrap skirt can be done in quite a variety of fabrics. I made it in another almost like quilting cotton, a stiffer kind of cotton fabric. It's beautiful in a linen or in a lightweight denim, chambray, that kind of thing. So something with a little bit more body, but I have seen it done in a lighter weight like a rayon, and it's really quite lovely as well. So it is a perfect style skirt to do with border prints as well, and you can make your tie up in a different fabric, like a plain fabric to coordinate as well. So really, really easy skirt. So say you've got 3 main pieces, then you've got your tie pieces. The 3 main pieces, you've got your skirt, back skirt, which has got little darts in the back. You've got your right side and your left side overlap, and they have got a dart in each side as well, so it gives it that lovely bit of shaping. It's a little bit reminiscent of the Mietta skirt from Tilly and the Buttons, but without the A-line. It's more of a straight. To me, it fitted me a little bit better than the the Tilly skirt, because I remember from memory it was quite a wide A-line shape. For me, this is a much more flattering shape. And I love the fact that you can really make a statement out of this skirt as well. Some video footage of me modeling that one. This one I've chosen to tie it around at the back. You have got a little buttonhole that you'll make in the tie that will be able to put your tie through. That's quite easy to make as well. This is a really beginner friendly skirt, so if you're starting out and you want something that has too much detail or too many pieces, this is a perfect thing to start with. And it's a very sustainable kind of pattern company too, so they encourage you to use fabric from your stash and try not to waste fabric as well. They're a very eco-friendly, as I say, magazine. The magazine itself encourages that kind of those kind of companies they'll advertise for as well. And their patterns, as I say, they encourage you to use fabric from your stash, and they will actually put a little disclaimer at in the front of every pattern instruction saying why not look through your stash and try and use up some fabric that you might have had in there for a while that you haven't used. It's a perfect opportunity with a free pattern to do that. And then if you love the pattern like I do, you'll be wanting to go back and make more of them. Now, the Peppermint wrap skirt starts off at a 61 centimeter waist and it goes up to a 116 centimeter waist. So you'll see it's done in sizings like up to A to J. Now, I made this size G, and that was the one that has a 93 centimeter waist. Now my waist is a bit bigger than that, so but I knew with a wrap skirt I'd be pretty well safe. Well, looking at the measurements, it looks like it goes from a size 6 to a size 20, maybe to a 22, but you'll really need to do your measurements because, as I say, their sizing's done a little bit different than normal. But yeah, the fabrics that I had, one of the particular blue one in the wrap skirt, I had in my stash for about 3 or 4 years, and it's a sort of fabric that with the border print, I was waiting for just the right style of skirt to set that border print off. Now, as I say, both skirts, I used about 2 meters for those. Make sure that you've got a nice wide fabric as well to get that. If you're wanting to do a lot of gathering, sometimes you need a bit more of a wider fabric. So always check your fabric requirements first as well. So 2 really quick, easy skirts to sew up. 2 free patterns. Why not take advantage and look into your free pattern websites, in particular Peppermint. They've got so many great free patterns. The Justine skirt I'm ready to sew as well. So many beautiful patterns on their website. And as I say, I'm trying to bring you patterns that I know have worked for me and that will hopefully work for you as well. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I have got more free pattern episodes coming up in the very near future. Okay, don't forget, if you liked this episode and you want to see more of my free pattern episodes, to click and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you will not miss out on my upcoming episodes. Thank you so much for watching today, and we'll see you next time on the Dahlia Society. Bye for now.